Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to our show. We have gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the multiverse, two of the nerdiest geeks to be found. We proudly present the professor and her geeky girlness herself, Ace. And now it's time. GeekyKOOL presents Professor and Ace.
Hey guys, it is GeekyKOOL presents episode, I never remember. I think it's 32, 33, 33, I think. I'm going to have to go check. I always say that and then I always get distracted and don't check, but we're in the 30s now. We're in the 30s now, Ace.
You know what? It's like a woman's age. Once you hit 30, you just stop asking.
That's probably true, yeah. Maybe we just need to start renaming them something else. Anyway, so we actually are together for the first time starting off on this. You were able to be on a couple of weeks ago, about halfway through, but we've been missing you. Just to know, we find that you're the heart and soul of the show. I'm just kind of the guy that's over here talking sometimes. So I'm so glad you're here because one, I miss our time together. So because you're a dear friend and I love doing this with you. This is so much fun. And you bring such a great perspective on things. So
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I know so. So so we're going to have a good time tonight because it is Christmas this week.
Yay!
Christmas. So
Ho, ho, ho.
ho. Exactly. So anyway, with that, we're going to talk about going back to our well on the list. We're going to do our top movies, and then we're going to do our top kind of holiday specials. And for me, those are the things that I look forward to as every year as a kid that made me just go, it's Christmas time. It's not Christmas until you watch this special or that special.
And you know, there's a couple movies that that come on all the time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Have made me not like them because
they're on all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my favorites kind of got that way for a while because you're like, oh man, it's on all the time. But now now that I've cut the cord and everything else, I don't have that problem as much. So anyway, but yeah, we're gonna talk about Christmas stuff. I'm excited. It's not really felt like Christmas for me. It's been a weird year, as we all know.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's almost over. And I'm glad that I'm going to get a break away from work for a little while, but it just hasn't felt like Christmas. But maybe these movies will help. And over the weekend, I did watch a few Christmas movies with my son, and that did help a little bit. Yeah, that was really nice. I mean, when you're...
I watched one with Lex. We haven't had her. She was on quarantine.
Right.
And stuff. And so we didn't get to do a lot of our Christmas stuff that we were going to do. We got her back for a couple days. She's going to her mom's tomorrow, but we got we made cookie ornaments for the tree. They had never strung popcorn, so I strung popcorn. She thought that was the weirdest experience ever. Let's see here. I can turn this. So our Christmas tree, I don't know. Is all see it. It's all homemade ornaments.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it hasn't felt like Christmas.
No. Well, we don't even have a tree because everything that we had Christmas-wise was in our attic. And then, of course, we had the tree fall, and what was still survived got pulled off to a storage unit at an unknown location with, I think, Area 51, but I'm not sure.
You should have just, cut out a piece of felt in the shape of a tree and put it on the wall.
That would work. That would really work.
I did that one year, actually. And then I took felt and made ornaments, and the kids got to rearrange the ornaments. That's one of my favorite little.
You're so creative that way.
It was cheap.
Well, cheap is I'm all about cheap because you can ask my wife. I'm cheap, so there you go.
Thrifty is like creativity is the invention of thrifty. Like when you have to be thrifty for something, you get creative. So.
Well, some of us have more natural talent with some of that than others. I'm creative, but I'm not artistic to where I would go to do that, and my tree would look like the pole from Seinfeld rather than a tree. So
God, that would be beautiful.
I'd have to air my grievances. So let's get started here and talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies and some of our favorite Christmas specials. Just have a good time because we want to be in that Christmas season. So I'll let you start off. What are we going to talk about first here?
Well, I did a list for Geeky Cool. If you guys
You
haven't
did.
seen it, it's the Christmas movies. It's my top 10 Christmas movies. And like I said on there, like the top 2 or 3 stay the same, but everything else kind of shifts depending on what kind of
right.
But one of my favorite Christmas movies is one of those movies where people are like, but it's not really a Christmas movie. And I'm not talking Die Hard, even though it is one of my boyfriend's favorite Christmas. It is his favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. But it's Gremlins.
Gremlins is great. And I did not pull. I just pulled your top 5 down, so I didn't get the rest of them. But okay. If you remember last year, I think I told you that I had my son. I told him, like, hey, let's watch this Christmas movie. And he sits down with me, and he's like, kind of weird. I'm like, yes, the 80s, that's great. And, and I'm like, of course it's a Christmas movie. Gizmo is given as a gift.
Present.
Yes, he's the gift. And you got
a little dark, like, Santa in the chimney door, but it's still a Christmas. It happens on Christmas.
It did
on Christmas.
It did happen on Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie, so
I agree 100% that it's a Christmas movie. And like I said, I sold my son on that. Now I did ask him this year if he wanted to watch it, and he's like, "I don't think so, Dad." I'm like, "But it's a Christmas movie. You like Christmas?" Because he'd watch Christmas movies year round and listen to Christmas music year round. I get tired of it if it's not between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Cool. If it's outside of there, I'm out of it unless it's just something else.
I work retail in a tourist town. I used to love Christmas music. I hate Christmas music because I hear it all the time.
All the time. All the time.
It's weird things. It's like at work we play all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. But it's I think it's either Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra or one of those crooners singing it, and it's weird that a grown man is singing all he wants is his front teeth. And I'm like, that's
no.
I can't get into it.
I agree with that. Yeah, that is odd. It's a funny song, but yeah. Now, okay.
So what?
I heard a song and I thought, boy, this is the strangest Christmas song because it's super sad and it's one of those where you're like, oh my God. But it's Prince. Okay. Prince from the Purple Rain extended album has a song called Another Lonely Christmas. And the song is about his girlfriend or wife or whatever. And basically you find out in the song she died on Christmas Day 7 years before. And he sings about her the whole time. By the way, there's Gremlins, by the way. But I'm like, I remember this song, but it didn't get a lot of airplay. But I'm like, I started listening to them, and then went and looked at the words. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is sad.
So one of my favorite Christmas movies has an iconic Christmas song on it, like iconic. The thing with it, though, is that it is the saddest Christmas song, and people don't realize it's a sad song until they see the movie and they realize and they actually listen to the words. But yeah. No, Christmas songs can be sad. Yeah,
check that one out, guys. If you've not heard it before, it's on YouTube. You can find it there. Prince, Another Lonely Christmas. Listen to the words, and you'll be like going, "Oh my gosh, my heart's breaking for him," and he's dead even. So, but
right.
but this is Gremlins for those people that may not know the cute little Gizmo.
Wanted a Gizmo when I was younger. Yeah. I was like, I remember going, I would not get him wet or feed him after. Like, but I wanted Gizmo, like not the little ones not the gremlins, but Gizmo. He was
Right, right, exactly. Because Gizmo's sweet and adorable and affectionate and
right. I
now,
thought it was so cute, and then I like the end of it. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been, but at the end of it, when the old guy comes back and it's like, "You're not ready for him," and he just you're not ready.
Takes him off. Yep. Yep.
He cuts him back. There's 2, which is
that's true.
Gremlins 2 is funny.
It is funny. I agree. It's a good movie. It's not as good as the original.
No, but
it is good. Yeah, it's not a bad sequel. So I wanted to go with and of course my love for the 80s.
Yeah.
And my love for comedy. And my love for Bill Murray. And you add in the Christmas Carol with it, and you get Scrooged.
It was on my list of.
It was. I know.
I love that movie.
And Carol Kane in this is so funny, and I love that. Sometimes the truth is painful, Frank. That's the best part. That and what's his name as the taxi driver.
Oh my gosh, what is his name?
Poindexter, and he's got a really weird Christmas song too. That's actually kind of cool, but it's weird.
I love Scrooge so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That is it's just wonderful. One of my favorite stories is the Christmas Carol, and I loved that they redid it. It's still very 80s, like you said. Everything about it is 80s.
Yeah, it is.
Even the big building that he works in and the elevator and all that stuff. But it's so great to see the retelling of Scrooge, of the Christmas Carol. And I love how they put it in where they're actually telling the story of the Christmas Carol while this is happening to him. Love it.
What was it? Charles Dickens would want to see her breasts.
Yes. We just staple the antlers.
Yeah, just staple
the mice, and he's like.
That's such a great movie. If you've not seen that one, check it out. It's down on people's lists. I find it super funny, and it's worth checking out if you guys don't know that one. And I was happy to see in your top 10 that was there, because I'm like, yeah, that's one of those that is a fun watch. Yeah,
it flops around on me, like
I know.
It's really hard because there's so many great movies.
There are
so many great movies that I consider Christmas movies because I just watch them around Christmas time that aren't really Christmas movies. I love The Sound of Music. I'm a musical girl, but it's not really a Christmas movie, but it's shown on Christmas time. So
right. So no, everybody associates it with a Christmas movie, and that is the question. It's like, how's it? So I do tell people that say Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. I'm like,
it takes place.
So the music is right, and Batman Returns is so.
Right. It literally takes place at Christmas time. He's trying to get home to his family at Christmas time.
Right.
The whole point of that movie is trying to get to family at Christmas.
Right.
So if like Home Alone is considered a Christmas movie, then Die Hard is considered a Christmas.
Right. And there's even a Christmas tree and a ho. I've got a machine gun now. Right.
I mean, he puts it on his shirt.
Right.
I picked that shirt that one year he had a holiday party, and I actually it was ugly sweater thing, and he was like, I don't have one, and I bought him a shirt and wrote that on there.
That's awesome.
Gun, ho.
See, you're such a good girlfriend.
I try.
What would be the next one we want to talk about?
Well, let's see. What was the next one on my list? You said you pulled my top 5.
I did, but yeah, that's fine. Let me tell you. Number 5 is an animated one that you put on there.
Oh, is it? And we just talked about the Christmas Carol.
We did.
And number 5 is it's a really one that's close to my heart. It's the one that we actually watched on TV with Lex last night, and it's the Mickey's Christmas Carol.
That is a great one.
Love it.
Yeah,
it's only 20. I think it's 26 minutes long. It's very short. It condenses a Christmas Carol You don't get all that intricate, in-depth thing, but the kids still get the idea of the Christmas Carol.
Right.
And I mean, seriously, Scrooge McDuck as Scrooge, like he was made for that role.
Well, yeah, he's named after the character from Christmas Carol. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing with Christmas Carol, because we've had two of them here talking about it, is that what people forget is ghost stories used to be a big part of Christmas. People would tell that was a huge deal in Europe and actually in the United States back in the 1800s and even before. Telling Christmas stories or telling ghost stories was a huge part of Christmas. And so when Dickens wrote the novel, that just made sense to use ghosts.
Have you seen the man who invented Christmas? It's about Charles Dickens.
Oh.
And it's got, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. He played Matthew on Downton Abbey.
Okay.
And the Beast off of Beauty and the Beast. Please forgive me. I know his name. Stephen something, I think. But he plays Charles Dickens. And it's about how he came up with the idea of doing the Christmas Carol and how he funded it himself. And it was a big risk. And he had already done Little Dorrit, and he had already done Oliver Twist, and he had done these iconic shows, and it didn't make my list because I actually had never seen it until last week. And I watched it, and I actually think it will be one of those that rotates in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's really good. So if you guys haven't seen it and you like literature as much as me, and you like knowing the backstory of the stories and stuff, it's really worth it. Because back when he did it, Christmas, believe it or not, Michaelmas and Christmas and all of those, they were bunched together, and they weren't that important. People don't seem to understand that, Santa was not really an important part of the culture until Coca-Cola.
Right.
He was not even a big part of the culture before that. Like, you had Santa Claus from the Nightmare or the Night Before Christmas.
Right.
But before that, you never had that visual of a Santa Claus. And then Coca-Cola took over, and he got big.
Right.
Christmas was not a huge holiday. It really wasn't. It wasn't that's why when in the Christmas Carol, where Scrooge opens the shutters up and he's like, boy, is that goose still hanging in the thing, go buy it. And people never seem to realize that, no, shops were still open. People still worked. It wasn't like a takeoff for a holiday.
Right.
So if you haven't seen that, you should see it. I think it's on Hulu.
I will check that out. I've not seen that. Well, and I know in Christian culture, Easter was a much bigger holiday than Christmas. Historically, now we've kind of flip-flopped that some, but that was a much bigger holiday. And also, interestingly, that you get, the paganism of basically Odin, who was coming and delivering presents Christmas, during the solstice. So then you got
the Christmas tree. I could write probably a whole couple articles on the non-Christian things that happen at Christmas. But I'm not taking away from anybody's belief or anything. But just when you go into watching this movie, just know that is historically accurate, that Christmas was not a huge holiday.
Right.
And it was really Charles Dickens with A Christmas Carol that kind of made people take a breath back and think to themselves, you know what? We should keep this kind of spirit all year long, but if we don't, we can at least do it one day a year.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. So.
Well, talking about Santa Claus. Yeah. That's going to bring me into my next favorite one, which is the original Miracle on 34th Street from 1947.
Natalie Wood.
Yep. That is such a great movie.
I love Maureen O'Hara.
The remake of it's really good, but the original one, it's so iconic and classic. I love that. I love the whole idea of him going to court, trying to prove that he's Santa. That whole thing is just wonderful.
The post office recognizes him as Santa.
Right. I mean, that to me is just a wonderful, fun movie. I could watch that every year and not get tired of it. That just warms my heart. So
Yeah. I mean, I have some that are on my list that are like that. And of course, my number one is an old movie that nobody really, most people don't even know exists. But yeah, let's see. What number am I on? What's number?
let's number 4, which is a more modern one about love.
Yeah, Love Actually.
Yeah,
I love this
actually.
movie. Like, I don't love all the stories that are involved in this movie. The Keira Knightley story, I think, is a little flat. I
Mhm.
don't necessarily like that he's obsessed with his best friend's girlfriend. That's a little weird. But it's got
Yeah.
Alan Rickman,
I mean,
it's got Emma Thompson. Like,
I mean, you've got all sorts of '80s songs about being in love with your best friend's girlfriend. I mean, Cars, and you've got Jesse's
yeah.
Girl, and I mean,
but if you are filming their wedding, you're not gonna just focus on her. You're gonna try. No, that one was the one where I was like that, and like, but it's got such great characters, and I love that they intertwine them at the end. Like, all of them are intertwined at the end. There's some really weird parts that are just like a little adult, and
right,
but then they have Sam, who's in love with this for the first time in his life, and Liam Neeson's stepson, and all of that. That movie is one of those movies that when I first watched it, I really, really liked, and then I've liked it more and more as I've watched it over and over again.
Right. Well, a lot of times that's what happens. Is like, okay, I like this one, but then you're like, oh, okay, I really like this one more than I thought. It just kind of places itself in your heart over time. So that's good.
My favorite, though, seriously, is Billy, like the old rocker. He's just like, listen, I will literally sing this naked if you guys will like vote for me and not this new band who's probably got years ahead of them.
Right.
Let me have this one last thing. I love that. I love that so much. So, plus he's funny.
He is funny. I agree. So that's a good pick. That's a very good pick. Well, I'm going to go with your boyfriend's favorite.
Die Hard.
Little John McClane. Yippee-ki-yay.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. I have a machine gun. Yeah. That one I have to watch every year. I'm hoping with the next couple years, when my son turns 13, maybe we'll consider him old enough to let him watch Die Hard with me, because I think he would find that funny. I mean, of course, there's some language, but he's heard all those words, and there's some violence, but he plays video game. Right. So, but
the thing is like everybody raise their children how they want to. Do not take this as like me saying you shouldn't. But like, I always find that if I watch a movie and I feel like my children would like it when they were growing up, I would let them watch it. I would always watch a movie first, though.
Right.
Know what it was, so I would be prepared to be like, okay, you can't watch this part, that sort of thing. But
yep.
But I grew up watching horror movies, so
like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Don't look at this part.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
No, that's a good pick. And like I said, Die Hard is a holiday movie. It's a Christmas movie.
He's going to see his wife on Christmas Eve to patch things up.
Right?
I mean, it's a heartfelt thing. He's there because his wife has left him, and he's trying to get back with her.
But you know what? It's got one of my favorite actors of all time, and he was in my last pick, and he's in this one, and that's Alan Rickman.
Yep.
I adore that man. Like,
yep. And I know we don't have it on our list, but Harry Potter can be considered a Christmas movie too. Any of them, and of course he's in all those. So yeah, he's a great actor. He is a great actor. So sadly missed.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so I'm number 3, right?
Number 3. Yes, you're gonna meet somebody.
I know. This is the one I was talking about earlier with the song, the iconic song.
It is iconic. It's very iconic.
And that is Meet Me in St. Louis. That's Judy Garland, Margaret there. And this is right as she's singing this song. That wish have yourself a merry little Christmas. It's literally the saddest Christmas song. Margaret O'Brien, who's in there as her little sister, in that scene, she's crying these tears, like these massive tears. And I watched a documentary on it, and she was talking, and she said that if she thinks she remembers this correctly, that the producer, who actually was Vincent Minnelli, who's Liza Minnelli's father and Judy Garland's husband, he produced it or directed it, and he came in and he told her dog died right before she went on there. So those tears are because she thinks her dog died.
Right.
Which is
That's one way to do it.
So bad. Don't do that. Don't do that to children.
Therapy needed, but you're a director. You got to get the shot. Got to get the shot.
But yeah, no, that movie is so wonderful. I love musicals. I love Judy Garland's voice. And yeah, they changed it. It's actually based on some short stories that from the girl Margaret O'Brien's character Tootie. When she grew up, she wrote books. She wrote short stories. And it's actually based on a real life family who lived in St. Louis, around the World's Fair time. And their story of that year that the World's Fair was going to happen.
Right. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
And the thing is, not necessarily a Christmas movie. Like, it's not all based on Christmas. It's throughout the whole year. So you get the summer.
Right.
Halloween scenes are beautiful. Like, I love the Halloween scenes. But it does happen at the end of it when everything resolves is Christmas time. So I consider it a Christmas movie. So.
Well, if A Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie.
Right.
This is a Christmas movie.
And Wonderful Life is on my extended list.
It is.
Top 5. But it's
my wife actually doesn't like that movie.
What?
My wife doesn't like It's a Wonderful Life.
Really?
Yeah. I think she was thinking it was going to be something else when we saw it. And it's a very long movie. And if you're not prepared for that, and so.
Yeah, it's long. And here's the thing. I loved It's a Wonderful Life way more before we got cable and they would play it on a loop.
Yep. Play it on the loop.
Then it's like, nope, can't do it.
Right.
So what's your next one?
Well, my next one. What is my next one? I think my next one's about. My next one is actually talking about playing it on a loop and cable. This one also has been notorious for that happening. It's
probably the one that I used to like and now I don't like.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Is it
from the 80s, but set in the 40s?
Is it? You'll shoot your eye out. Yes.
You will. And I love this scene where
Frozen
Triple Dog dares him to stick his tongue to the pole, and he does, and he's stuck. So I love this movie. I have to watch this movie. But I will say, when I had cable and it was on the loop for 24 hours.
Straight. Over and over and over.
Yep.
The only thing I could get, and it was on all the channels. And I was like, there's other Christmas movies.
There are. This is a great Christmas movie, but there are other ones out there also to show. But I love this movie. I did watch this over the weekend. It was one of the ones that I watched. And it's one of those things where it's not really Christmas until I've watched it. So, and happily watched it with my son who enjoys it too. So he enjoys it. So my wife, I think, is tired of it from it being on the loop. But plus,
I think it's a thing. I'm just like, it's not a bad movie. I don't want anybody saying that I think A Christmas Story is a bad movie. I don't. It's like Christmas music. If you hear it over and over and over again.
Agreed.
And I used to manage a couple Hallmarks. So Christmas for me, for 5 years, started in July.
Right.
And this is one of the movies that would play at my work on the TV over and over.
That would wear on me too. So yes,
it's one of those that I'm like, you enjoy it over here.
Right. No, that's perfectly understandable. I also think it's a guy movie.
It is a guy movie.
I mean, the only female roles you really see in here is the teacher and the mom. And that's really the only female. You get a couple of the classmates, but they're really very side characters. But the main focus, and that's probably true where these boys were growing up, and the time frame is that you would typically just play with the boys, and it's all that story.
Yeah, it's the 40s, so it's very much, it's like the Little Rascals, like
right.
He-Man Woman Hater Club, like the boys.
Right.
Boys, there wasn't the intricate, like the can't talk. There wasn't like the kids coming together and just playing. There were boy games and there were girl games, and they did not. The two never met. Like
they
back in the
really
40s.
didn't.
So no, I'm not surprised there's not more girls in the movie. And the thing is like, it is very much, I know a lot of guys who grew up when I grew up in the 80s, who this movie is their favorite Christmas movie because it showed them like themselves on TV. Ralphie was that.
Right. Exactly.
Ralphie was like, I want a BB gun, that sort of thing. And so no, it's totally, I get it.
Yeah. But by the way, we've got 4 viewers out there going on right now. 4 active viewers. Hey guys, welcome. Please leave a comment if you want to share anything. If you want to tell us your favorite Christmas movies or holiday specials, let us know. If you just want to watch, we're happy for that too. We're just glad you're here with us. So we always love having a live studio audience. Then we have to throw in the laugh tracks.
That makes me so nervous.
I'm not surprised by that at all, AJ.
Oh my goodness.
So the next one on your list is also my top one.
Okay. So it's my number 2. And you cannot have Christmas without this family. You cannot have Christmas without the lights all over the house. You can't have Christmas without Eddie and the RV.
Isn't Eddie?
You cannot have Christmas. Yep. You cannot have Christmas without like the tree going up in flames, the cat in the present. Like this is the Christmas movie.
Right.
The one that I have as my number 1 is my favorite Christmas movie, but I feel like this movie, National Lampoon's Christmas, should be on everyone's top 5.
Yeah.
Totally on everyone, no matter what kind of movie you like.
Now, my wife was making fun of me while watching this over the weekend because I still laugh hysterically at all these parts. I just bust a gut, laugh, just a full belly laugh.
But it's heartfelt.
It is.
It is poignant because it's this struggling family that you've grown up watching them in other things. Of course, the children change a little bit. This one has Leonard from Bang Theory, and before he was David on Roseanne, he was on this, and it's the Griswolds. That's fun. Here we are. It's the Griswolds. You can't have Christmas without the Griswolds. But you have Clark, who's working hard, who is expecting a bonus. Everyone this year can kind of grasp this idea that you want to give a good Christmas to your family, and you get nothing.
Right.
You get fruit or jam. You get
Jelly of the Month Club.
Yes.
That's the gift that gives all year round, Clark.
Oh my God.
That it does, Edward.
And that snap, that moment when you snap because you have been wanting to give your family everything and you can't. The heartfeltness of Eddie's children going Uncle Clark and not having Christmas.
Right.
Is Santa gonna remember where we are? Santa gonna know where we are? And he has all this pressure, not only on him for his family, but now for his extended family.
Right.
And then Eddie, who is the biggest buffoon there is, but who has the heart of gold, does not think things through. You gotta love this movie. You have to love this movie.
Clark, remember that they put that metal plate in my head and they had to replace it because every time that they'd run the microwave, I'd wet myself and forget who I was for 30 minutes. So it's been replaced with plastic. So if I go down that hill, and it's just a piece of plastic, government plastic between me and that. Do you think that'll really matter? Well, you gotta. That's where my part is, and that gets dented. My hair just won't be the same. We all have an uncle or a cousin Eddie in our families. At least you're in the Ozarks. I know we all do. Some of us, that's our entire family.
I was gonna say some of us, it's like more of our family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whole side of the family sometimes. Yeah,
the weird ones because we're like the not Eddie people in the
yeah, exactly.
But no, it's
true.
really cool. And it's heartfelt, and you really feel for this family. Of course, National Lampoons with the Griswolds. Like, I love all those movies. But this one in particular is my favorite of all the Griswold movies. Because I feel like it gives them their comedic presence, but it gives them a heartfelt presence that might not show up as much in the other movies.
Right. Well, at the part where Clark is stuck in the attic watching the old films, I mean, so it really kind of tugs on you a little bit. It gives you a lot of character development of these guys, so it's great. But yeah, I'm with you. The original Christmas vacation, original vacation movie is just laugh out loud funny all the way through.
I love that movie so much. When they get there, I felt that, like when they get there and it's closed, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah.
Sorry, folks, the moose should have told you outside.
Right? Like, but this one, I feel like it takes that National Lampoon's comedy and tongue in cheek, completely crazy off the wall ideas. It has all of those, but then it ties in more of a family feel, and I love it.
Well, then you get the neighbors next door, the snooty neighbors next door.
Elaine,
exactly.
Seinfeld.
Why is the floor all wet?
And I just love the house is all lit up and she can't sleep.
Spills the wine everywhere. The boyfriend falls down the stairs. That's just great.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
She comes over to smack him, and he opens the door, and the squirrel jumps on her. That's just great. So
wonderful.
That is a great movie. So, all right, well, let's go with your number one, because you're right. A lot of people, I don't think, know this movie. I know this movie, but a lot of people don't know this movie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, so it happened on Fifth Avenue. And yeah, there it is. This movie is, I think it's still relevant today. Mm-hmm. It's a movie about a bunch of soldiers who've come back from war, who are displaced, who do not have homes, who the government and society have just kind of thrown away. Two of them decide that they're going to try to come up with a plan to house everyone.
Right.
And they break in to this house, and they think they're living in this rich person's house with this girl's help who they think is homeless. Turns out she's the daughter of the rich guy. So she actually has legal right to be there and everything.
Right.
And then her parents come, and instead of this part is what blows my mind. Instead of just kicking all these homeless soldiers out, she convinces them to live there as paupers as well.
Right.
They get to know these people, and they get to know them and become friends with them. And her parents, they're kind of estranged and everything, and they fall back in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this beautiful story about how, one, you really can't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
How it starts is the two soldiers are looking for a place to stay, and there's this homeless guy, and he's like, come back to my place. And this family goes away every winter, mm-hmm. and they leave this big mansion. And so he moves into this mansion every winter. He doesn't take anything more than he needs. He doesn't take anything that would be noticed. And of course, the girl then, they think she's homeless too, and they take her in.
Right.
Her house. And it's just such a beautiful story It's not like really long and drawn out like a lot of the stories were back
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
But it's so beautiful, and it has one of my favorite endings of a movie of all time, and it's where the soldiers they learn that this couple who moved in is actually the rich family who lived there.
Right.
The homeless guy, they don't tell him. They don't tell him that they are the couple that he's living in their house, and he leaves and he's like, I'll be back next year. He goes to these big homes and lives in them when nobody's there because they're empty houses.
Right.
And the wife looks and goes, should we tell him? And he's like, he just says, next time he comes in through the front door.
Right. Right.
Like, he is a homeless man who, yes, he doesn't own this house, but he opened up his hospitality to all these people.
Right.
But he's been doing this without them knowing it. And his heart is so kind and he's so wonderful that this rich man now realizes that this homeless man has so much more to teach him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
right.
he basically just says next time he comes through the front door. He doesn't have to sneak in anymore.
Right. Exactly.
And that to me is one of those moments in movies that gets me every time I think about it. It's one of those moments where you see people who are struggling,
mm-hmm.
and we've all been a person who's struggling sometime in our life, but when you're struggling, it's so easy for people who aren't struggling to look down on you.
Yep.
And this movie is that movie that, like, I had my son watch when he was growing up, and when he did, I know that he personally, like when he was on field trips to different cities for like journalism camp and stuff like that, if there was a homeless person and all his friends were like, oh my gosh, this homeless person, we can't talk to him, we can't be around him, it's a big city homeless person. My son was the person who would go up to him and invite him into McDonald's and buy them food and listen to the story, even if they were crazy, because like, sometimes they were crazy, and listen to the story because they're not below you. They're just in a different spot in life.
Exactly.
So this movie taught him that, and I hope I did. And this movie taught me that, and I love this movie so much. So
it's a great movie, and I'm so glad you picked that one. That's awesome. So yeah,
guys, it happened on Fifth Avenue. Go. It's one of those heart ones.
It is. It's a great movie, guys. Check it out if you've never seen it. Talk about never seen it. We got a comment from Mandy, and this is a little surprising, Mandy. I'm a little surprised by this.
Mandy never watched National Lampoon movies.
We need to get that resolved this Christmas season. We need to watch Christmas Vacation, but then you need to watch the other ones also.
Mandy, your boys would love the National Lampoon's Christmas movie.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
They would laugh so hard. There's so many jokes that the kids could get, and it's not inappropriate for them to watch or anything like that. It is really funny. You should watch it with your boys. They would love it. They would love it so much.
There's a few jokes that will go over their head in all of them, but European Vacation may have some things that. There's the Christmas face right there.
Has anyone mentioned Die Hard yet?
Yes, it's on Larry's list.
I did mention Die Hard.
And Gremlins.
So on the list, but on my extended list, not mentioned also was Batman Returns and Lethal Weapon, which are Christmas movies also.
Yes. Okay.
That makes him happy.
And all is right in the world.
See, there you go. And AJ did have Gremlins on her list, which is a really good one also. So.
Well, I like Die Hard is just not my type of movie, but I do think it is a Christmas movie, so it's just my type of movie. But we watched Mickey's Christmas Carol last night, didn't we?
That's a great one. That's a great one. I'm very happy you picked that one. That's a good one. So we're gonna move from our Christmas movies to those holiday specials, those things. Especially as a kid, or maybe with your kids that you watch, that it just warms your heart, and you've got to have that every year. And Sadly, the holiday special from Star Wars was not on my list. The original 78 Star Wars special, even though I love the Boba Fett cartoon, it
So
never quite had its feel. So, but there's some other things that have.
But you know what? The new one, the Lego Christmas
Mhm.
special, I really liked it.
It is really good.
I liked it.
And I know that's on your list. That was one of the ones on your list, and that is a really good one. I enjoyed that. My son enjoyed that a lot. It is a lot of fun to watch. I think that
I love the jumping through time thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that you got to see because it brought everyone back.
Right.
It brought everyone in, and yeah, it's Legos and everything, but it was really good.
it was really, really good. It's so much better than the original one that was live action. So just saying. Talking about that, off subject. Did you see the last episode of Mandalorian?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
I know.
Man, they know how to do it.
Speaking of Mandalorian, the very first episode of The Mandalorian, season 1, episode 1, actually canonized the holiday special where they mention Life Day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. They did do that. Yeah.
So yes, we watched The Mandalorian. I cried. I didn't work the next day. Was I off the next? Yeah.
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah. So I literally waited up until 2 a.m. and we watched it dropped.
That's awesome.
He didn't want to see any spoilers, and so we watch it together. It's one of the things we watch together every day
Mhm.
or every week. But yeah, no, amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, amazing.
Sure.
The only thing I had issue with is a little bit of the
CGI, yeah.
I've seen YouTube deep fakes that looked better than that. Like he looked good until he started talking up in the
Right.
up shots.
Well, interestingly, they had the little dots on his face. They've actually shown the pictures of how they did that and used the dots to de-age him, and it was his voice, and he actually did the facial expression. So it's interesting it didn't work as well,
That's what I thought.
but it was really cool.
Sebastian Stan, he's already on the payroll.
Well, and there's talk that may happen, but I love that they brought him back. So for those that don't know who the him is, because you've not seen it, we don't want to spoil you, but it's a big deal, and the big deal at the end of the credits. So if you've not seen it, stay for the credits.
The end of the credits, because we, when they announced all the new things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we were a little upset that they didn't announce this one.
Right.
And then it came on, and I was like, and this one over here, Shmoo was like, he wasn't crying, but there were moments of close to
I
tears.
was literally jumping up and down, giddy.
Yeah.
He was like, yay!
Well, you're like, hold it, Jabba's palace, hold it. What?
I just
What?
want to how in the world did Bib Fortuna survive? He was on the barge.
He must have jumped and fell into the sand.
I guess.
Of course, you can say same thing about Boba. How did he survive? He was in the Starlight Pit, but I know there's stories to tell
I
you how
feel like
that
they're going to talk about that a lot more.
I'm sure they are.
That'll probably be the opening scene of the Book of Boba.
That's true. So
But no, it's great. I loved it so much.
Jon Favreau was on Good Morning America yesterday.
I saw that you posted that.
Yeah, I did. Like a 10-minute clip. And the thing I loved about him was he was geeking out and being the 10-year-old, just excited about it. And I'm like, this is who we need in charge of Star Wars. This is perfect because he's such a fan, but he wants to do it the right way and make it really cool. Anyway, I know that's off the subject of this, but since we had mentioned Star Wars, I just kind of took it and ran with it. So
I live with the biggest Star Wars. Oh, did you see what's in my living room now? Did I show you?
Oh yeah. I have seen that. I saw that in person. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a huge X-wing fighter that was a display model. So yeah.
Cross display. And
I found it. We found it at a thrift store,
market in Harrison, Arkansas.
flea market, and he wanted it, and so I got it for him.
Well, that's really nice.
And it was only like $24, surprisingly.
That's a great price. So yeah, that's great.
This is geekiness.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's talk about some holiday specials, and again, not that one holiday special, but some holiday specials in general. So we're gonna go with, and my list is pretty much classics because I'm going back to my youth here, or my childhood, what takes me and makes me happy, and we're gonna start off with the original animated Dr. Seuss's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Chuck Dixon, is that right? Drawing and animating that is such a classic. I love this special. I could watch this special every year and just be happy that I got to watch it. So I like the live action movie, but not nearly as much as the cartoon.
Have you seen the Benedict Cumberbatch, the new one, the CG one?
I don't think so. I saw the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, I hated the Jim Carrey one. The Benedict Cumberbatch, the CG one that's out last year before. It's really, really good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it came out in 2019. It's number 10 on my list on mine.
Oh, I did see that. That's true. So but the cartoon was just perfect. So what else you got for us, AJ?
You can't have Christmas without the tree, Charlie Brown.
Without the tree. That is so true. There we are.
Oh,
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. Yeah, this right here is one of those. It is it's number 3 on my list, but it's one of those things where it can rotate. I love this show. When they said they weren't going to have it on regular TV, I was just like, what are we doing? So I know they made special things where PBS could show it, and you can also stream it out there. It's out there, guys. So,
but it's a thing, and see, that's the thing. Is like we used to have to wait. Okay, see, you could stream it, but there were certain shows that would only come on once a year.
Right. You planned your holiday watching around certain shows.
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph, all of those. But Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown for Halloween. Yep. You knew the holidays were coming when you watched it, and then the Peanuts Christmas special. The little dinky tree. That's a beautiful thing. I love the tree.
It is. Again, there's this theme of the things that are being thrown away being made beautiful, and you get that in Charlie Brown. You get that in, a lot of the Christmas stuff goes back to that. And just as you were talking about the homeless, the servicemen that were homeless and everything else, it really has to do with taking that different perspective on things and having a Christmas view. And Charlie Brown just points that out perfectly. It's a beautiful thing. I love the tree.
You got Snoopy. You got
exactly.
Charlie Brown gang. You got Schroeder playing the piano. That's a beautiful thing. That is one of my favorites from childhood.
And I forget what her name is. The redhead girl that not that redhead. The one that's actually my naturally curly red hair.
Sally?
It's not Sally. It's one of the. It's at where they're practicing.
I can't remember.
When they're practicing and she's the innkeeper's wife.
Right.
Is she supposed to have naturally curly hair? I just love that. So.
My favorite is Schroeder. I've always loved Schroeder.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just moves like Pigpen.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're dating me. I know.
All right. Well, that one's on my list there. That was a good one. Let me throw out one that's not on a lot of people's list, but I love this one as a kid, and mainly because it has a couple of great songs that I just love to sing along to. I'm Mr. Cold Miser. And I'm Mr. Heat Miser there. I love A Year Without Santa Claus because I love these characters. These two brothers fighting over what the temperature is going to be, having their little crew song and dance.
Well,
I think it's fun.
You can't help but love watching Kris Kringle grow up.
Exactly.
Like, you watch him grow up. I was telling Lex that Santa Claus has red hair naturally and it turned white. And that's how I know that.
Yeah.
you watch them grow up.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. I love that so much. Like I almost put some on the list, like Rudolph, the regular, like from
Right.
the one, Frosty, that one. All of those are ones that I almost put on my list, but I figured you were going to take care of those.
Okay. I did.
I know you did. One of the ones on my list, I mentioned Rudolph, the original one, but on my list, the 2001 Rudolph and the Misfit Toys, Island of Misfit Toys. I love that. I watched it with my kids. Dakota was obsessed with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie that came out
Right.
in the 90s. I want to say 99. I'm not sure. He loved that movie. And then this would be on and he would love it. It's the broken toys. It's the misfit toys.
Right.
They don't quite fit in. Rudolph doesn't quite fit in. No, it's beautiful story. So
I agree. Well, that'll lead me into the regular Rudolph also. So as you mentioned, again, I'm just a misfit. That's the whole song. That's how I felt as a kid because I did not fit in with the crew. I wasn't good at sports. I was the kid who liked comic books. I was the kid that liked sci-fi. So in my little hometown of less than 1,000 people, I was an oddball.
Right.
And this movie, there's a connection there because I'm like, hey, it's okay to be a misfit. It's okay to be so-called broken because you're not really broken. You're just different than what people expect.
Just different. And the thing is that just Rudolph showed children of all ages all the time that just because somebody's different doesn't mean they can't do their part to make things better.
Right. Exactly.
And that's, beautiful.
Now the thing that I've learned as an adult, I didn't think about this as a kid. Santa Claus is kind of a jerk.
Right? Well, to Rudolph, because Lex is over here going, no, because he's like, he doesn't need Rudolph or appreciate Rudolph until Rudolph can blow his nose.
Well, and Santa learned and grew in that process. It's a process of character.
Even the best people have
right. That's exactly right. We all have to grow. I'm not saying that he's this way now. I'm just saying in this movie, boy, he comes across, especially of wanting to cover up Rudolph's nose, make sure that goes away. He can't lead my sleigh like that. And they're like, oh, well, maybe that needs to change. But yeah. So,
but what Rudolph taught Santa and everyone else is that he didn't need to change. They needed to change their aspect and outlook on him.
That's exactly right. See him for who he is, not for what you think some standard should be.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I'm glad we got past that. All right. So we got Mandy's got a comment for us again.
She hates
well, you know what? It takes a little bit to watch claymation and get that.
Well, and she brings up the same point you did. They hated him until he was useful.
Right. They did.
And the thing is like, I feel like that teaches you a lesson, though, that there are a lot of people who are just not going to like you until they find what you're good at and stuff. And they can either change and then love you and appreciate you for what you're good at and who you are, or they're using you. And either way, it's more about you accepting yourself and being happy with who you are.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think in at least in that movie, when you take it in perspective, his dad comes around, realizes that he loves him, he wants to help him, he wants to find him. Mom goes out and searches for him. So their level of an acceptance grows in there. They realize they've been too hard on him. Santa comes looking for him also. I mean, so there are things there where, like, okay, they get past that red nose thing throws them off, but then they get past it. So, but I get it, Mandy. Yeah.
Dumbo,
exactly.
Dumbo. Everybody made fun of him until they could use him in the circus.
Right.
Except
and then he becomes a star.
Except Jumbo. Jumbo always loved him.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, all right. Let's see. Did you have any more you wanted to talk about?
I think there was one more, and I just can't remember what it is.
Let me look.
You got distracted, Larry. You got distracted.
I understand. And I know I put them all here. So you had Misfit Toys and Lego, and what was the other one that was on? Let me go back here.
This is
because there's a third one, but I think we shared one of those. Oh, Charlie Brown. So
there it is. There. See, I had 3.
You did. So now I had 5, but that's okay. So we'll give you my top one, and you mentioned them briefly. This is one that I loved all these other ones, but this one was my top one as a kid that I just had to watch. If we had to make, like we can only watch one of these movies or one of these specials, it was Frosty. I love Frosty. Frosty, his relationship with the girl, and I'm forgetting her name at the moment. I'm going to hurt myself for not remembering it. But how he's willing to sacrifice himself and what he's doing. And she goes on this trip with him to make sure he gets safely to the North Pole. It's such a story of friendship. And again, he's different. He's a talking snowman. He's got this magic hat. Somebody wants it. They want to get the hat back because they realize there's magic in it. And I just love the guy that's the magician in this. His character is so funny, and and
happy birthday.
Exactly. Happy birthday. I was always confused. I'm like, shouldn't you say Merry Christmas? I'm like, no, he's being born, and then put the hat back on. He's being born again, or coming back to life.
Birthday.
Yeah.
So cute. It's so cute. No, Frosty was always like. It's so cute because I also like that they have
That's a good one.
Vampire Slayer Christmas episode. I mean, I didn't do episodes from TV shows that were like Christmas episodes. Shpoo and I were talking about it. Like, there's so many that are like, iconically good and stuff like that.
Right.
I have The Office that had some good ones. Community had the one he was talking about with Abed's like making them all clay people and stuff like that. But yeah, lots of good Christmas episodes from actual TV shows and stuff like that. It's like the Halloween episodes. No one does these things in real life. Like I do, but not most people don't do these. Yep. So I agree. I love that.
No, so that's my favorite. So that was the one that always got me going. So anyway, I think that's all of the shows we want to talk about. I mean, we're here and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. I mean,
I do have to work in the morning.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've been
me too.
an hour. We usually try, guys. Believe it or not, we do usually try for an hour, but most of the time we fail miserably.
Yeah, sometimes a lot worse than others.
We like to talk. It's all good.
We do, and that's a good thing.
Just so you guys know, I have been doing another show with Shpoo that we've gotten one episode down, and we're and he's already got it edited. It's probably going to start at the beginning of the year.
First week of January.
First week of January, and we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week. And that's going to be fun. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff on his channel. What?
Should I jump in and plug real quick?
You can come over here.
Come on in and plug, most definitely.
Whew, I'm a little sweaty now, but yes, the first full week of January. So the first Monday in January, which I think is the 4th, something like that. Scallywag Productions will be back to doing 5 shows a week. Mondays is Mindless Dribble, the stuff we've been doing. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be a series of enigmatic events, basically cryptids, unsolved mysteries, anything without an answer.
That's with me.
I'm out of breath. Wednesdays are going to be talking about the best movies never made. So basically unused scripts, things that were tossed, never canceled, whatever. And then Fridays, and I actually have Larry to thank for this one. It's a new version of Mindless Dribble, but talking about like the bits of history that nobody ever asked for. Like, ever wonder who came up with the idea of like hey, look at the little beans on this plant. I think I'm going to pick them. I'm going to put them over a fire for a while, grind those beans up, put them in a piece of paper, run water through that, and the water that comes out underneath that piece of paper, I'm going to drink it.
Right.
Call it coffee. Who came up with that crap? That's the show.
He's going to look at
The Eakin.
that. So
Yeah, those are exciting, and I'm excited to see those. Those would be wonderful. And so here at GeekyKOOL, we're happy to see those. Get those out, and we'll be plugging those, and that'll be a lot of fun. So
that's over at Scallywag Productions over at YouTube. That's where
check that out.
stuff.
I'm talking about that. Let's just put that up here. Yeah.
And he's also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everything. But yeah, we're going to be doing that, and we'll post it on GeekyKOOL as well, because Shpoo is a contributor with us, and since I'm a contributor as well, we're going to do that and share those. But yeah, no, I've been having a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah.
So we've got it. The first 2 weeks is actually a mini series. It's 3 cases, and then we're going to tie them all together in a way that
There you go.
our minds have tied them together. I don't know if it's true or not, but our minds have tied them together.
Well, that's all right.
You know how my mind works. It's scary.
Well, you know what? It will be closer to reality than most of the stuff on History's channel right now. So
That's true. It's very true. Also, guys, go and check out our friends Keith and Gary over at Pop Culture Minefield, and that's on YouTube, and they're also on Facebook as well, and you can check them out. Give them everybody that we're shouting out. These are friends of ours. They do all kinds of nerdy, wonderful, geeky stuff. Keith and Gary's show is a little bit more adult than ours, but still go over and check them out. Hit the subscribe button to these channels. Give them likes. Check out the videos. Like them. Comment. This lets them know that you're liking what they're doing and that they're on the right track. We hope that you do that with us as well. Go check out Tim and Josh over at Nerd Informants. They're on Facebook and YouTube. Josh was on just last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Keith was on last week. Yeah. Yep.
And Josh was on 2 weeks ago.
And let me say, both of them are great, but not nearly as good as you.
Aww.
I know.
I'm prettier to look at.
This is true. Much prettier.
No, I'm not. Josh and Keith are both very pretty to look at. I'm not even gonna lie. So, but go check them out, Nerd Informants. Check them out and give them a like and subscribe and stuff. And don't forget to check us out. We have our own website. It's GeekyKOOL.com. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And yeah, go read some articles. Larry posts things all the time. I've been trying to post things a little bit more. But we have a bunch of contributing writers and stuff that are posting things for us. And we're trying to keep up with all the geeky news because geeks are cool.
Right on. We do have some comments from one of our people we just talked about here. Mr. Keith has some comments for us. So, Claus is the Christmas special on Netflix. Actually, before that, I missed where he said Claus is his favorite Christmas special. I've not checked that out. I need to check that one out.
It's on my list, Keith, and I was hoping to watch it with Lex before Christmas, but probably be after Christmas because she goes home tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hard to do if you got to work tomorrow and do that. He also says it's about Shpoo. Shpoo rules.
Keith says he rules. He does. He
and the Shpoo files talking about the
Shpoo files.
We just call them spiles.
They're spiles.
Spiles. All right.
Keith, you're wonderful. We love you.
And this is true also.
It's not true. AJ does not.
AJ rules. Ace. Ace is in the house. So.
Anything.
Well, we appreciate all you do, AJ. We love having you with us. You make the show awesome. So.
Well, it's very easy when I surround myself with such talented, wonderful, geeky men. And I say that because, I have some geeky girl that I surround myself with.
Yeah,
They haven't come on to the show hardly at all.
We need to get more of them on. We need more shows with geeky girls. I'm all about
I
that.
loved with Brittany on, and Brittany and Spoo, like we're talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I would so sit and watch that if that became that was the other show that they should be doing is that show.
Yeah, Spoo says he's down. If she is, they got to do is like come up with the time. I think
Yeah.
just even once a month they just talk about horror stuff, and I'm good with that. So
Keith also says this. Now, I don't know about that. So, but
awesome.
and Mandy's down for the Geeky Girls. Mandy, do you want to come on? Because if you want to come on, we will make a regular show with you and somebody else, or just you, whatever you want to do. We're down for that, girl. So consider that if you want to show.
Mandy is amazing. She's an amazing writer. She's an amazing mom, and she is always here to support us. And
She is.
I love Mandy so much. I met Mandy at OzCon.
Oh yeah. OzCon is great. She says this, and I don't know about that, Mandy. We're talking geek stuff all the time. We're talking odd ducks. I mean,
seriously, Mandy, I told people this for years. I don't even know what it's like to be normal.
Yeah.
So we're good. We could be all the geeky girlness together, sweetheart. It's not good.
That works. Andy, you're always welcome to come on, and then I'm serious. If you are interested in a show or anything else, writing, whatever, we want you. So come on in. So, and here's Mr. Keith once again. Man, it's Mandy time. Yeah.
See,
so
I already have fans.
Exactly. Already have fans. There we go. So I don't know where to go from there. Anyway, so we'll be back next week. Even though it's right past the holidays, we will be back with the show next week. We don't know what's going to be about yet, but we'll figure that one out. Too bad there's not like a bunch of New Year's movies because there's really not anything there.
There's a couple, but they're not that good.
Yeah. 2016, which was really about 2020, and I don't know. 1984. I don't know.
Like a knockoff of Love Actually in a weird way.
Exactly. Oh, here's Mandy's commenting. Would love a ladies' night sometime.
Ever 200 cigarettes.
Spoo says the best New Year's Eve movie ever is 200 cigarettes.
I don't know.
My gosh, Mandy, yes, we'll do a ladies' night. Oh, I could host that. That would be fun.
There you go.
We'll do it like after New Year's, though. Give everybody time for this holiday and to digest everything that's gone on this year.
Make sure the world's not going to end up.
The noble girl ladies.
Noble nerd ladies.
Noble nerd ladies. There you go. I like it. Okay. All right, guys. So check us out next week. We'll be here. So stay geeky. Have a very happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hanukkah's already gone, so we can't say that. But all of that, celebrate fun.
Actually, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We just had solstice yesterday for those who celebrate that. Happy belated solstice. All of that. Thank you guys for joining us. We love that you guys do. And tell your friends about us, but in the good way, not in the bad way. And
I don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's fine. Well, as long as I'm involved, I'm part of it. That's what matters, right? Hello.
The grandkids.
Hey, grandkids. There you go. Hi, grandkids. Thanks for watching. All right. See you guys next week. Stay geeky, and we'll talk to you later.